And hello, and welcome to Magical Journey. I am your host, Daniel Cohoon. And can you guys hear me okay? Because I'm obviously in a different location tonight, and I want to make sure that you can hear me clearly and all that kind of good stuff. You're probably going to hear some background noise too, because I'm in a public place in the hotel tonight. And yeah, okay, good deal. So, um, tonight's show is going to be a little bit different in a lot of ways because tonight, um, Jim Powell from the Fisher of Spam, the Night Watch, and I are both in ish, um, the Knoxville area for uh, the Bigfoot Festival coming up tomorrow. Uh, Jim is currently driving through some pretty nasty weather. We got like Mother Nature is toxic in South right now. She is so toxic lately in the South. So we're getting all kinds of stuff lately. But we're going to get started tonight. I just wanted, like, first of all, before we get started, uh, give you guys a little bit of the usual housekeeping stuff. I know you love it. Magicaljourney.com. This is a site that's actually starting to come together really well now. The blog that is up now is currently connected directly to uh, the weekly live. So that is updated every week now. That is my commitment, and that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Um, Along with that, on that website, you can also find my store where you can find magical merch, where you too can be my walking, talking billboard and don some pretty cool gear while you're at it. And also, for those of you who are interested in ways of supporting uh, the podcast and just amazing amount of work that I'm doing right now, and to be able to bring you bigger and better coming in the future, uh, I do have a Patreon. There is information on the Patreon and a connection to it to the website. So please go in there and check it out. Tom, hey, that was an amazing show tonight, dude. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest, my friend, Jim Powell, to the stage.
Am
Jim,
I there?
you're currently the reigning king of something.
Yeah. Lots of rain happening right now on the road, bro.
It sounds a little bit rainy, but that's okay. It's looking really rainy here too.
Yeah, I can't wait to jump out of the car and get soaked. It's gonna be super awesome.
Yay!
Yay!
Rain makes things grow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure my garden is very much enjoying it.
True story. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, where people can find you, what you're about, all that kind of good stuff.
Right. Okay. Well, as you guys probably know from the way I was introduced, I am he who fishes for spam. Fisher spams the Night's Watch. You can find me on the YouTubes, the Rumbles, the Patreons, Spotify's, all the social stuff. I'm even on TikTok now. So yeah, look me up. I've got a show every Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. Central, and it's usually a pretty good time. I've got a lot of experiences that I've had, and I uh, cover all of them on my channel. And trust me, there's a lot. But also on top of that, I'm also the one of the camera guys for Relic Films with Mr. Greg Ogles, as well as kind of freelance and do my own stuff, and get out there in the woods and stuff too. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Right. And actually, that's kind of what we're going to be talking about a little bit tonight
Right,
is some of the stuff you've been doing with Greg Ogles and with Harley Owens.
right, yeah. I'm excited.
I am too. We're probably going to run into both of them tomorrow at the festival. Uh,
Oh yeah. Oh,
I
bro,
don't,
I'm gonna tell you what. When I get there, I'm gonna like bulls on parade that thing. I'm gonna be excited and just be going crazy.
yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It's one of the first big events that I've gone to at this point, and
Oh,
I love you too, Tom. You're awesome. Um, it's one of the first big events that I'm going to kind of solo. So having people around that I know is going to be good because,
yeah,
of
but
course,
at
yeah,
that point, then why would you call it solo? Because at the very least, I'm gonna be there.
true story, true
I
story.
mean, you're gonna be the second bull with me. We're gonna be going crazy, bruh. Come on now.
Right, right.
Alone, talking about you, nerd.
Well, the fact of the matter is a lot of us may be swimming upstream or downstream tomorrow anyway, depending on the weather.
Yeah,
It's
that could
it's going to
possibly
be
be true.
interesting. Going to be very interesting. Um,
Yeah.
so let's talk a little bit because I know tonight. Um, I think the VIP tickets or VIB tickets are watching one of Relic Films videos, correct?
I'm pretty sure, yes, that is tonight. I don't remember the exact time, but obviously it's not the most important thing for our audience because, they would be watching it right now, theoretically,
True
right?
story. True story. But they are
So, you
are
guys get
seeing
behind
that
the
tonight.
scenes.
Yes, you do,
Yeah.
and that's really important actually to get to know all the stuff, all the things
Right.
about Relic. So tell us a little bit about your experience with filming. Like how did that look? How did it go about? And yeah, just give us the story.
Okay. Well, as far as all that stuff goes, I mean, first of all, y'all, kind of keep in mind that technically I'm only allowed to talk about what didn't make it on camera. So, I can only do that. The things that were caught on camera, you're going to just have to wait. But what the name of the documentary is The Banished, and going over like some of like the missing 411 stuff for like Dennis Martin and Trey something, I think his name was, or I don't know, one of those. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool. We first start off the expedition in Georgia, and then we have some remote viewing stuff going on, and then we finish up in Tennessee. And
Wow.
yeah, it was the very first time that I've ever been asked to do any kind of film work, and it was quite the adventure. Let me tell you what. First of all, let me just say that about a 3 to 4 hour car ride with Greg is not boring at all. It's actually super fun. And the conversations that we had, I wish I would have live streamed it because it was very, very cool. But yeah, essentially, the way it worked out is, we first start off going to somewhere in Georgia, right? And up in the mountains there. And because of, pretty sure it was because of Greg's work schedule, we didn't like leave my house till about, I don't know, maybe 5 o'clock, maybe later.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we didn't get to the site until about, well, when you include all the stops, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So, of course, oh crap, here comes my exit soon. So we had to set up in the pitch black, when that's not too big a deal. We got lights and all that. And it's funny because, like, the guy that's is doing all the stuff at that site came up to us and was talking to us, and he was like, "Hey, just so you guys know, Bigfoot is very much known to mess with your tents at night." He's like, I don't know if y'all will have any action or not, but it's very possible. So be prepared. And where's my lane for the exit? Oh, there it is. Come on, Tennessee, do better than that. And so we're like, okay, ominous, right? So, but we both get set up, and holy crap, how does this light work?
You're in
Sorry,
Tennessee. The
y'all.
lights work.
Yeah, this is a bit. Oh, okay, green light. Who cares? Anyways, so I'm like, okay, cool. I'll keep that in mind, bro. Thank you for the heads up. And I'm finally laying there in bed, and first of all, it is freezing cold. Like I thought I was gonna die. I was fully clothed and everything, like, and underneath the sleeping bag, just shivering my butt off. And what does this say? Turn left at 150 feet. Are you at the comfort suite?
I am.
Okay.
I
I'm
literally
pulling
sent
it.
you the whole ad.
Well, I'm just making sure. I've been known to make mistakes. I've never been wrong, but I have been mistaken. Let's see here. And so anyway, so I'm like laying there trying to get to sleep, right? And I start to hear something after about maybe 15, 20 minutes. And my first thought is just, oh no. Like, I think something's coming in on us. And I sit there and listen, and it's getting louder and louder. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really fixing to happen? And after like a minute of sitting there listening to this god awful racket, I made the realization that, wait a second, that's not a Bigfoot growling. It's definitely not a bear growling. It's just Greg Ogles snoring freaking chainsaw, is what I'm hearing. So I'm like, oh, okay, everything's good.
Poor Greg.
So, yeah, that. Yeah, so that's the introduction to the night. Crap. Let's see here. Where's a good place to park?
Are you at the
Mm,
hotel?
yeah, kind of circling. I'm gonna
Yeah, because there's
be
a big
looking at the
truck
front.
right in
Like,
the front.
okay, wait a second. Is the entry on the side?
It's like the entry is facing the gas station in front of the building, if that makes sense. Like
Yes,
there's a
Marathon. I
country,
see it.
yeah, there's a country inn and suites or something right beside the comfort and the
Gotcha.
main. You can't miss the main building right now or the main entrance. It has a big truck in front of it right now.
Okay, cool. Well, let me grab all my stuff. Hey, what up? So, all right. Um. So yeah, that's how the first night goes. And the second night was pretty eventful, and the second day was pretty eventful as well. We had lots of stuff going on in the tracking of everything. And do I need that? Maybe not. Oh crap, my lights are on. There we go. So yeah. Oh my God. Thank God for umbrellas. Sorry, folks. Trying my best to be as professional as possible. Ow.
I mean, live, live. What can you say? Anything is going to happen and can happen when you're live.
Very true. There we go. So yeah. Um, Let me try to remember like a good way of explaining like the next thing that I'm allowed to talk about. Um, so I realize you guys can't see me very well. Sorry. There we go. Um, all right. So our first kind of like night out there, we're getting lots of orb activity and things like of that nature going on. And essentially, it's my first time messing around with a FLIR, right? And I'm borrowing somebody's FLIR. And to me, it looks like a very, very old one. And I did not know that it was able to record.
Okay.
I thought it was just just an imager. Like you could check it out, look through it, yada, yada. And so I'm checking out this thing while we're hanging out on this cliffside. And through the thermal imager, I see something just crazy happening. And I don't really know how to explain it. And there you are. That was wet. Hold on 1 second. How do I do this?
What's up? Oh yeah, yeah. Jim is actually coming right this way. Right, 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 right. There he is. I don't know. They may. Let, how do we do that? We're going to like actually try to hook up stuff. So how do we go about doing that? Do you have the same thing? You may have the same thing that I have at home that I've never figured out how to do because I'm technologically impaired. I may learn something tonight. Okay, that is pretty simple to do. So far, I think we got. Ah, okay. All right. Mhm. Oh, yeah. Oh, those settings. Okay, so it should already be. Well, there's the USB audio. I wonder if I don't hear anything.
Well, see, here's your levels right here moving. Hold on
Oh.
2 seconds. Is it working? Yeah. I see it moving pretty dramatically.
Okay.
All right, so let's X out of it. All right, guys, so let us know if you can hear us very well.
Yes, definitely let us know.
Yeah, please. Hopefully this is working. So
Yeah.
far, it shows that it's working on our end, but
Otherwise,
sounds good.
we may be doing sign language.
Yeah. All right, so as I was saying, the flare. All right, so it's like basically a clear scout. It looks really old to me, right? I had no idea this thing can actually record. So I'm out there scanning, and it's set to white hot. And I see on a tree something that looks like a snake because it's black, because white hot, cold blooded, yada yada. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. I mean, I'm not doing nothing else. I'll just sit here and check out the snake, right?
No, it's a snake.
But snakes are cool. You don't like snakes?
I'm scared of snakes.
Noted. I'll keep that in mind. If I find one, I'm throwing it at you. All right. So basically, I'm sitting here watching this thing through this FLIR scout, and I see it kind of like moving and undulating, and it starts to kind of like pulse. I'm like, never seen no snake do that before. That's weird, right? So I'm sitting here watching it, like, what is happening? And this thing's pulsing and pulsing, and it starts kind of moving up the tree. And all of a sudden, it starts like kind of, hold on. you're this way. It starts like coming off of the tree slowly. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. And then all of a sudden, it's like hanging off this tree like 4 or 5 feet, and the snake's not really that big. I'm like, how is that possible? It's practically hanging on by like its tail. And then it keeps on going, and then all of a sudden, it completely leaves the tree. Like it's floating in midair, kind of doing like a number like this.
Wow.
And it's pulsing and undulating, and it starts widening out, and it looks like a blood vein or something like that is going on. Like that's what it looks like through the imager. I don't know how to explain that. But I'm over here just talking, like I'm talking to him about it. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? And they're like, I don't know, what is it? I'm like, the snake is just, it's so weird. It's not even a snake anymore. And they're like, okay. I guess in their mind, they're like, well, surely to God he's recording it. But I had no idea this thing could actually record. So I'm watching it move, and it goes to another tree, and it kind of does like wraps around it like once, and then it comes off again and just floats up into the air and disappears. And I'm like dumbfounded, like, what the heck is going on right now? So I talked to them about it. They're like, cool. Did you record it? It's like, this thing records? Like, yeah, it's a FLIR. I'm like, but it looks old. They're like, let me see that. Grab it and like, see that button? It says record. I was like, oh, my bad, G. Oops. Okay. Oh well. Keep in mind, yo, not the first time that I did not hit record. Because let's see here. Let's check on all this. Please center yourselves, Tom says.
What? Who are we centering? What are we centering? Please center yourselves. Center us. There we are. We're centered.
Wait,
Sort of.
wait. Got it. Better? Sorry, I'm paying attention to magic and everybody else here. But I should be looking at this more, so sorry. But anyways, hey everybody. Are we still sounding okay? No problems? Not too loud or anything? Because I can turn us down if we need to be.
Awesome.
Do, 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 do. Beautiful. All right, we'll go with that. All right, so yeah, so that's yeah, I think the only thing I can technically talk about for that trip at the moment, or I mean not that trip, but like that night out. Nothing else is really too striking. I mean, we see, like I said, plenty of orbs that are like flashing and stuff like that. I don't really know how much of that got on the camera. We'll have to wait and see. There's also saw a UFO or two up in the sky, you know, and of course, you know, when we're out here doing this stuff, Greg is like most of the time sitting down and like doing CE5 and meditating and stuff. And of course, if you guys know me, you know that I'm like, don't do that. Bad idea. You know, I looked at him, I'm like, what are you doing? Are you meditating? He's like, yeah, kind of. I'm doing CE5. I'm like, bro, really? He's like, yeah. Like,
exactly what you wanted to hear, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm like, oh, okay, so the orbs make sense now. That's why I'm seeing so many, and there's that thing in the sky. Cool, that's awesome, dude. Well, I got you back if something happens. So, yeah. You know, and then I guess that's probably why, you know, like seeing orbs and those things are pretty common for us because he's always doing that. So, whatever. But it makes for a fun time anyways, you know.
Interesting. It's like, so can I tell you, can you tell us where this was at actually? Or no?
I don't think I'm technically allowed to, but yeah, I can probably. Well, I can't tell you the exact location, but
Yeah, we don't need the exact location.
But if you go to like Facebook, or I think they also have a YouTube page, if you look up Squatch Fishing Outdoor Adventures and all that, you'll be able to find them, and they are licensed like through the state to actually do this. I think they're the only ones that have a license through the state of Georgia to actually have a site and actually carry people out there. And it's a good time. It's a good time. They have lots of stuff happening out there. So it's high on the recommend.
Good deal, yeah.
I tease. I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of places throughout these areas that are research areas and so forth that obviously we don't want to give away locations, but I like to know like regions at least and so forth to be able to know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that's why I ask the questions about locations from time to time.
And to be fair, like I really can't even remember the name of the city. I just remember having to climb up a mountain for like 45 minutes in the car and it being like super annoying because of it's just constantly winding around. You're going up probably thousands of feet of elevation in Georgia. It's like we must be in the taint of the last bit of the Appalachian Mountains because this is freaking stupid, you know?
Wow.
But whatever.
Mike, hey, how are you doing?
What's up, Mike? How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, but so that's how that ended up going. And let me see here. I believe on that night is when I actually kind of like forced Greg's hand into like digging through his equipment to find his buddy heater. Because I mean, like both of us were dying of frostbite. It was so cold at that elevation. Like, oh my God. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I'm laying there in long sleeve shirt, long sleeve undershirt, like military thermals. I mean, I'm kitted out. I mean, I just got like my tactical gear off, and then I'm wrapped up like a cocoon in my sleeping bag. And the problem was I grabbed the wrong sleeping bag because it's the same color as mine. I grabbed my daughter's sleeping bag.
No.
So I'm like curled up in the fetal position just to try to fit in this thing. I'm just like, oh, I'm so cold. Help me. Greg, I need a heater. I'm dying. And so I had to figure that out. I actually had to rig this thing up on a bungee cord because, you know, those things have like a switch on. Like if they tip over, they're turned off. And we're on unlevel ground, you know, on the side of a mountain practically. So I had to like bypass all that and hook it up on a bungee cord and try to take other bungee cords and position that thing so it would be perfectly straight so it would stay on and I wouldn't freeze to death. But I figured it out and it worked and I survived. So there's that bit. But yeah.
Newbie stories on what?
Right. How not to camp is what that is, especially when you're roughing it.
Look, it's been so long since I was camping. I probably wouldn't even remember how to put a tent together, so I can't really say much. Living on the edge. Truce and true. Definitely living on the edge.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we imagine when, like, first of all, whenever I imagine, like, especially going out in the winter time, up on the higher elevations, not only is it cold and are things really crazy, but there's also less opportunity for running into some of the animals and so forth you would normally run into. So at least you have a clear, kind of almost clear path with some of that stuff not being in the way.
Generally, yeah.
Because like in those areas, like you even have like the what is it, the wild boars and the armadillos. Armadillos are in this area now. We rock.
Tactical possums. I hate them.
Look,
Kill them all.
on the way here, right before Cookville, there were like 7 or 8 of them before it was on the side of the road, like roadkill. I've never seen that many on the side of the road before, so I'm not sure what was going on with that, but it was really weird.
Yeah, about every 5 miles, you can kind of like, I mean, it's almost like clockwork. It's like every 5 miles, there's a dead one on the side of the road in Alabama. I mean, you can almost, you know, map things out by the amount of not possum, but armadillo carcasses. So I get it. But yeah, you know, it's like when people like give you directions in the South, oh yeah, turn over there by the old barn and take another right there at the old oak tree. No, we're just like, all right, go about 2 to 2.5 dillers, and you're good to go. Turn right there. That's how it works.
You forgot about when you get to the corner of the pasture where that cow is standing, because the cow's always standing there. That's where you turn right, left, right. Yeah.
When you hear the moo, you know it's your turn.
Move.
Yep. All right. So, all right. The next one is the most tragic one, right? Because we had the most insane nighttime encounter with Bigfoot.
Right.
And this is the one where Greg's like, he loves to bring it up to everybody that I didn't turn on the camera.
No.
Because we were driving in the car, going to this next area, and one full on in the headlights, maybe 20 feet away from us, comes out. And I didn't have the camera on. Now, I would say in my defense that one, I didn't know. I didn't realize he wanted B-roll of us chit-chatting in the car. But two, I've asked him multiple times that day, like, hey man, do you want to do B-roll here? Hey, you want to do these? And I've been told, no, we got plenty of B-roll. We're good. We're good. So I'm just like, we're good. Okay. So
Wow.
there's my defense. But so let me go over like kind of how it all happens, right? So we're driving, and on the right hand side of us, there is a very, very steep embankment. I mean, it's got to be 70 degrees or more. I mean, this thing is practically vertical. I mean, it's insane. And all of a sudden, this thing comes in from, up that embankment, and it's running on all fours, and it just darts across us. And then it goes to the other side of the road, and there's another almost 70-degree embankment, and it goes straight up that. Now, all of us were like taken by complete surprise by this thing. So, obviously we're slamming on the brakes because we don't want to hit what we thought is just the biggest black bear known to man, because that's like almost all of us were like, black bear, what? And to be fair, they have them out there. I mean, they've even had a record-breaking black bear out there, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. But here's the thing: is it's like, okay, so we jump out, and when you startle a black bear, it will run from you, but it's gonna go up a tree and turn around and check out where the threat's coming from. And we're up there just shining the light, trying to find eye shine. There's nothing. But when we're out there, we hear this thing just continue just booking it through the woods. I mean, it ain't slowing down for nothing. And it's going just as fast as when it crossed the road, which was also lightning fast. It's just, just tearing up stuff as it goes through. And we're like, kind of like dumbfounded, like, okay, no, this isn't acting like black bear, and then, granted, like it happened so fast, like we have to kind of sit there and like think about it. Like, okay, wait a second. It didn't run like a black bear at all. Like, for instance, all right, let's see if I can demonstrate. Stay. All right, so its front legs are out like this. So it's like, walking on its knuckles like this, to completely out to the side. Think a spider crawl, but not quite that low. Okay. And because it's not like naturally quadrupedal, at least from what we can tell, its butt is up in the air, like if somebody was like bear crawling, I think it's called. And I remember like its legs were so long, and what it's doing is like, I've heard Darren talk about this before, and I think the way he put it is really apt. Like, almost like it's sitting on a chair and just pushing straight out with each leg, with each thrust. And I think that's actually a great way of how to describe how this thing's legs are moving in it. And I mean, it's pitch black. Its color is pitch black. I mean, I can see kind of like through the hair, like I can see skin, and it seems like kind of white colored ish to me from what I can remember of it. But like, it's weird that the color of black of its fur is almost like it's absorbing the light. Because this thing's full on in the headlights, right? I mean, we see it. Now, the only thing is its head is down instead of up. So we don't get like a great view of its face. But I remember its head being kind of slightly pointed a little bit, you know, like kind of cone-headed-ish.
Mhm.
Oh, you think that sounds cute or something?
I'm just getting like flashbacks from Saturday Night Live.
Coneheads? Yeah, it's a good movie. So, anyways, yeah, it kind of looks like that. And, you know, so we're like basically discussing it as we're going around or sitting outside the truck. We're like, what's going on? What did we see? You know, we're talking about what we saw. And we're like, you know, and obviously there's like no sign of anything coming back like a bear would, right?
Right.
And we were like, you know, how could it have gone up this embankment so as fast as it did? Like that's not physically possible at that speed because it was just so incredibly fast. I don't think a cheetah could do it. Yeah. So then we're like, wait a second. Maybe that left something behind. Let's look at the embankment that's easy for us to access and check it out, right? And there's footprints. I believe it was 18 inches. And the most interesting part of it is that there was a knuckle print. Because like I said, it was kind of, you know, going on its knuckles.
Right.
So, I mean, we have clear knuckle prints in the mud going up the embankment. And what's interesting about it is not just being like a normal knuckle, like it looks like its middle finger is out like this. You know, I don't know if it's like an arthritis thing, if it had something in its hand, if that's just what they do, or maybe it had an injury. I don't know. But like, you know, because we're looking at these knuckle prints thinking like, okay, if this is a bear, we're gonna see clear indications of claws on all three areas of the hand if it was like a pad, right? But no, it's like literally a knuckle print, but with one finger up like this in the middle. And I don't know what to make of that. Yeah. So
It seems to be kind of common that we have like on the handprints
mhm.
I found, there's some weirdness going on with the fingers all the time.
Yeah.
Harley found what I think was a handprint because it did look like a footprint so much. And though it was weird the way the fingers were contorted, there's something about their hands. This kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it kind of like the first thing I thought of whenever I noticed this and started thinking about it was it's interesting how AI can never get hands right. That was the first thing I thought about.
Right.
That's
a good call. It's a
Very
good call.
curious.
You know, and what sucks is, I swear, you know, it was like such a good like sighting for us that Greg is just continually salty about this. He's like, dude, it would have been the footage of the century.
True.
Like, yeah, but I didn't know. He's like, true, and I didn't tell you. I was like, true. But he always loves to bring it up. And let me just show you guys what happened after the fact, because it's the way they do me. It's the way they do me. And, you know, granted, I've learned my lesson since then. You know, it don't happen now. We find them.
Record buttons are a thing.
Yes, I thoroughly investigate everything. All right. So not long after this, he goes and does some work for Merkle Media, so with Tony. And obviously, I'm a huge Tony fan. And I bugged him to death for months. Like every day, I'm like, tell Merkle hi, tell Merkle hi, tell Merkle hi. And do you know what he sends me? Let me see if I can get this in here. Oh, wait. My wife's hair or something stuck on me? Let's see here. All right. All right. Let me see if I can find the play button.
Okay, say hi. What's up, Jim? Next time, don't miss the Bigfoot. All right? Okay. All right.
That's one heck of a way to meet your heroes, folks. So,
I guess we all are kind of like fanboy and girling over Michael sometimes because I think he's great.
yeah. So yeah, I can't wait till I actually get to meet him and be like, hey, guess what? I'm Jim. Thanks for the video. I appreciate that. Maybe one day in the future I can be like,
I
show him.
wonder if he's going to be there tomorrow because he lives in this area.
That's a good point. I thought about that. I would imagine with all the health going on or health problems with Lindsay, he may not be. But then again, he might. I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah, but I mean, on that note, you guys say a prayer for Lindsay. So shout out. But anyway, let me think if there's anything else too interesting of note. Can you guys hear that? If they can hear the machine.
It is definitely not a paranormal experience going on.
Yeah. So, anyways, let me think here. I don't think there's anything too much more interesting that didn't make the cut that I can talk about. Nah, let's just say no.
What is that?
I don't know. I mean, technically, I can turn on. Don't I have a noise cancellation feature on this bad boy?
I don't know.
Mm.
Again, live.
Oh
and
yeah, it's on the mic, but it kind of like mutes it down a little bit more than normal. So let's just pretend like it's not. It keeps on go. But anyways, yeah. Bruh. Anyways,
maybe?
yeah. And then as far as the next outing that we do, like the finishing up of that particular film, we actually come up here to Townsend and come to Kate's Grove and do some stuff out there. I mean, as far as what didn't make it onto the film that I can talk about, we had lots of orbs, and I got zapped for the first time, so that was interesting. I've never experienced that before.
Right, I remember you talking about that recently.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
So, and the best way that I know how to describe that for me is like if you guys have ever had like a CAT scan or CT scan and they do contrast, like they inject that IV.
Oh yeah.
And it like kind of has like that makes you taste like tinny and you get super nauseous like instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it felt to me.
Yeah. Yeah, not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, by no means. I mean, so we're sitting there filming, and I'm in the back, and then like as soon as we stop filming, we're kind of like just hanging out there, and then all of a sudden I get hit, and I'm just like, oh, like out of it totally. They're like, oh, you okay? You okay? I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. Just I'm not really sure how to like get over this quickly. But my solution was to get up and move and lay down basically on my face and kind of like ground myself. And then, yeah, it basically went away instantly after that. I had to get out of like the cone of where it was shooting it or directing it or whatever, however that works. I don't know. Because I can tell you from the duration of how long it lasted, I don't see how it could be a sound wave. I don't think something could do that with its mouth for that long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyways.
Good plan.
But yeah. Let's see here. What else didn't make the cut that I can actually talk about from Townsend? Oh, we were without electricity and running water for 3 days.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this was. Didn't you show some footage of?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so needless to say, I actually shot some video. I think it's about almost an hour long of all of us sitting around on like day 2.5 or something like that. And we're like eating and drinking way too much saving berries. And we're just having a good time cutting up. A couple of them were sloppy drunk, but not me. It's very funny. Yeah, even what I recorded is like tame compared to what we actually talked about. It was so funny. But there's a hilarious story that Adam Davies tells about the 2 times that he eats monkeys out in the Congo. And yeah, you need to check that out on my Patreon. It's only $1 a month. $1 make you holla. It's hilarious. I mean, it really is. And it's disgusting. It's parental advisory. I had to put that behind a paywall because, oh no.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, to flush our toilets, we had to go down to the river with a bucket multiple times just so that we could flush the toilet. And we didn't find out that we had a bucket until day 2.
Going Amish style. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sprinkles was Greg's turd that he kept alive for 2.5 days until I found out we had a bucket, and I put it upon myself to go and kill unalive Sprinkles. So yeah, it's funny. It's a good time. Good time.
Oh, I knew she was going for it. There we go. And there is the link to the Patreon that you was just talking about.
Yep. That's yeah, so that story's there, and just other stuff, little things I do, musings from the car and little whatnots. But more importantly, like every time I have a guest on, I try to do like an overtime episode. So if you guys want like extra stuff, it's there. But anyways, enough of the shameless plugs.
It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
So anyways, I think if there's anything else of interest that I could talk about there. I don't think there is. So we'll just say that it was a great time, and I got to know many a good bathrooms at the local restaurants for about 3 days. So it's going to be an awesome film. I'm really excited about that one. It's going to be great.
The trials and tribulations of doing location work. Definitely having the lights out for 3 days would be one of those things.
Yeah, well, granted, it's also technically like illegal to not have running water at any business or establishment. The fact that it took that long to have running water turned back on for us is insane. We weren't happy about that, but
This would be, yeah.
emergencies and fires and whatnot, like big liabilities there. So I won't tell you where it was, but well water, really, that's how you guys are feeding this entire establishment. Like, do better.
Wow.
Anyways, I digress. So yeah, and then after that, it's off to the woods with Harley on the latest expedition.
Right. And that had to be interesting because Harley's been finding some very interesting and different things from time to time, depending on where he's been at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell us a little bit about that experience.
Okay. So essentially what we did is we went out there with the mission of finding this cage that one of his friends that goes out there and hikes told him about. So we're like, okay, let's go find this mysterious cage, right? So we go out there, and I'll just say, like, there's so much sign of like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, like all over that place almost as soon as you get out of the car. Like, I'm blown away by it. I'm not expecting this at all. And we find tree structures everywhere. We find footprints everywhere. I've got a short on there where, like, probably one of the best defined footprints that we find is about 18 inches long. and it's got super defined toes in it. Like it's like awesome, you know. And to be fair, if you guys want to check that out, I have all the raw footage up in video form on my YouTube, so you guys can go check it out. Actually, I would appreciate it very much if you guys did, because you know there's only so much time in the day for me to edit, and you guys can like zoom in and find stuff, screenshot it, put it in the comments with like a time tag or something, or email it to me, whatever. And I'll put you guys in the credits for the end of the documentary, because I'm about halfway through with it right now. And it's going to be really cool. But like on that note, you know, while we're out there exploring some of the stuff, like before we even get into like the super exciting part of this, like as I'm going through the footage and Harley's going through the footage, Pam's going through the footage, like we find all kind of stuff that's just not very far from us that's checking us out. Like we got some good images on that.
Yeah, wasn't there weren't some of the toe prints, especially in the foot, was that the ones that I saw where they're in pretty deep?
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's the ones I was thinking about when you said that it was like pretty solid prints. I was like, that's got to be the ones I'm thinking about.
Right.
Yeah, because they were those were some seriously good prints. Was he able to cast those?
Yeah, actually, that cast is going to be here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he sent me an image of that. I'll have to look, but I'm pretty sure he'll have it. So you guys can ask him if you're here. But yeah,
I'm
Super
excited
cool.
about seeing it.
yeah, yeah.
So while you guys were out doing this stuff, did you like? Can you talk about the cave thing at all? Was that part of a system of caves? Do we know?
Cave.
You said that the guy. Did I missed something?
I think you missed something. There's no cave.
I thought you said that somebody told him to go check out a cave that was in the area.
I think I vaguely know something about that, but we didn't get to do that.
Okay.
I'd like to, but I don't think we did. I mean, I know we didn't, but like, I don't know.
Cage. Is that what you said?
Cage.
Cage.
Yeah, that we did find. Cage. Maybe I should. Can you guys still hear me okay? My mic level's okay? If I need to go up or down, y'all let me know in the comments. Same with magic. I can control both of ours. But so yeah, super yummy. And like we find just so much. Like it gets to the point where I'm not even filming all the tree structures. Awesome, thank you, Pam. I'm not even filming all the footprints that we find, because this place is just like littered with it. And to be fair, like it's also like a place where Scott Carpenter used to do his research areas at. Like this place obviously has lots of history from, you know, I mean Harley, yes, but him, Scott as well. So I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Visualize this because like that area is very nice looking too. It's very pretty over there.
It is very pretty, very scenic. So essentially, we try to figure this out. We go up trail and we do lots of exploration. And then we get to this old graveyard. And then from here, it's basically time to go off trail. Now, for the audience, I recommend don't go off trail. Bad hot no. It's not a good idea. You don't want people coming out there with helicopters to try to find your butt. But if you're with somebody that, you know, researches in the area and you feel confident in their confidence, then who am I to tell you what to do? Because do as I say, not as I do. Because we went, you know, and we go down there, maybe a mile and a half or so. It's a good bit that we went, or at least at the very least, it felt like forever. Because we're going like up and down elevation this whole time. And yeah, to be fair, I do want to go out there. I'm actually going to talk to Harley about that pretty soon, because he's supposed to go out there. I don't know if he ever did or not, but either way, you know, he and I are going to talk about that. But anyways, so as we're going down, I'm finding more signs, more breaks. We've got water running. We have corks just all throughout this place. I mean, it is littered with big, giant chunks of quartz. I mean, like boulders. It's insane. And as we're going down, we find like a humongous footprint. This sucker ended up being 22 inches long, super well defined. See the toes and everything. So I'm like, blown away by that. And the other thing that really impresses me is that a lot of times where we find the prints, there'll only be like maybe one and maybe like half of another one by it, if that. But usually it's like just one, and it's always like in the most insane places. Like if you are going to be walking in the woods and doing this, like as a critter, like it seems like they're doing it the hardest way possible. Like, why would you step there to avoid this obstacle? Why wouldn't you go over here? Like, you're doing it the hardest way possible. It doesn't make sense. But granted, I mean, I guess that's why they're little forest ninjas, and apparently if you walk the hard way, maybe it's quieter. I mean, I don't know. But it's just stupid to me. It's whatever. I don't know what to like explain that as or whatever, but it just is, and we caught evidence of it. It was amazing. Now, we get on down there, and the whole time that we're out there too, I'll add that I had audio interference on these because they're wireless, and there's the EMF meter is like spiking like almost every time that this happens too. And what's funny is like we can't like hear what we're saying and what's happening on this while we're going. It's not how this works. But it was like almost every time, when it would happen, like from the footage, either Harley would pull out his phone and check his EMF meter on his phone, or I would from my gear. And like every time it was like spiking, like, it like normal background would be like in the 20s or whatever. But when things would go off, I mean, it'd be anywhere from like 50 to like, I think the max that we saw was 80 something. And like I said, like every time it happened, these picked it up, and just out of nowhere, like sheer coincidence or us picking up on it, one of us checks the meter. I don't know how to explain that, but it just does. But so anyways, we get all the way down there, and this area like really opens up. And by the time we get down there, I mean, I'm just dog tired. I'm a fat kid, y'all. I mean, I'm beat. My butt's whoops. Harley's like a little skinny beanpole. He's like, do. All's good. And I'm just like, bruh. So I see like a good ridge, right? That's overlooking like a lot of area. I'm like, bro, hey, let's take a break, get some water, chill out for a little bit. He's like, okay. So we go do that. And it's not too long that we're hanging out there. And we start getting all kind of activity. We've got all kind of route clacking that's going around all around us. I mean, like at one time it seems like we're surrounded by something. And at the same time we're starting to see things come out of the woods. And it seems like these Bigfoot that we're seeing are causing like a distraction for all the other things that are on this side of the stream to be able to cross. That's like kind of like what we're thinking. And it's weird is because like every time you see it, you only see like half a face like kind of peeking out from a tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we'll see a movement, we're like, what's that? We watch it, and then it's like oh, bro. Of course, we're not that loud, we're like, check that out. We're trying to be as quiet as we possibly can, and trying not to move honestly as much as we can. So like, it's only like at some point in time I realized like, oh wait, my GoPro's on Harley's head. Like, turn that on and see if he can catch something, right? And we catch some pretty good stuff. Um, and throughout this, I mean, I would say that we put our eyes on 5 Sasquatch throughout the course of this day. And I feel like 4 of the instances are 2 of the same juveniles, is what I think. And it's calling me. Like, for realsies?
To give you guys a perspective too, like Hurley is 6'6", so if he has a GoPro on the top of his head, you're literally getting a bird's eye view or eye-to-eye view, depending on the size of the creature. Yeah.
And yeah, note to self, make sure that the angle of the GoPro on said giant's head is correct every time you turn it on.
Oh no.
Anyways, love you, buddy. um, so that's what's going on, right? And another weird thing that's happening while all this is going on is that, we're checking the EMF and obviously it's spiking pretty hard. And the other weird thing that I've never really seen before, I don't really know how to explain it, is like my EMF meter also has a temperature gauge on it. So I swap over to temperature.
Streaming.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Hello, we're back again.
You guys still hear us okay? Make sure that we connected. What's that bouncing thing? Why is MacBook so weird?
Actually, we're definitely.
Yeah, we definitely can.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know there was that much
know
of a
what
lag.
the bouncy thing is. We have bouncy things. I don't want to know what the bouncy thing is. Oh, it's some kind of, I don't know.
Some kind of weird Apple thing. Whatever. Fancy pants. Anyways, so the temperature gauge.
Live shows. What can we say?
Yeah, things happen. Things happen. Like, losing power in your phone or your computer, try to shut down. Like after we plug it back in and turn it on, it says shut down.
It's literally like we never left.
That's super convenient. I'm pretty happy with that. We don't have to make another show and all that.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
that means you don't, well, maybe you do a little bit of editing, but that's okay. Maybe you can do it. Anyways, back to the stories. So, Cage, C-A-G-E. Anyways, so I was talking about the temperature, I believe. All right, so one of the interesting things is, I checked my temperature on the EMF meter, and it's like in the mid to high 60s most of the day. It's overcast. It's still fairly cool out. I mean, Harley himself is wearing like a hoodie the whole time. And I check it out and I start watching my temperature gauge, like as activity is spiking, like start to raise. I mean, it starts off at like 68, 69 and goes all the way up into like the mid to high 80s. Yeah. And obviously, like, we can't really like feel the difference. There's no sun out or anything like that. We're down in a holler. We're protected on either end. So, I mean, there's not much in the way of sunlight coming through, not much in the way of wind or anything like that. But, like, there's no reason for it to heat up by almost 20 degrees, right? And the only thing I can really think of about that is, like, whenever you use energy, you lose part of the efficiency of whatever you're doing through heat. It's the only thing that I can really feel like maybe comes close to doing it, because like we got this rock clacking going on, with the quartz, and maybe it's generating electricity. I don't know. We got running water down here, right here in front of us. We have energy sources all around us. I don't know. But it was a weird one. And like I said, we saw three out there. One was black, one was like a reddish brown color, and I remember the one that we tried to see, because like after we were done and we're starting to get up, we go, because we found the cage. The cage ended up being like 30 feet away from where we were sitting down. We felt like idiots, like, because we're like, things started calming down, and I was like looking around. I was like, oh, hey, look, there's the cage. He's like, dude, I got up to pee and everything, and I didn't even see it. Yeah, there it is. So we found it. And as we're going out there to look at it, we see the red one coming from our left to go across. And we're like, oh no, crap, get it on. And oh, that's adorable. And ouch. And the joys of life. I'm sorry. So anyways, he starts zooming in on his phone, and his phone goes pixelated. Like the entire screen is just pixelated.
Oh, wow.
Like not like fuzzy, like when you're trying to zoom extra, like no, pixelated. And I don't know how to explain that. I mean, maybe he's got it's because he had an older iPhone at the time. I don't know. But I zoom in with mine because that's what I'm filming the majority of this on, is my iPhone and my GoPro. And I'm able to like get out there, but like the camera is wanting to focus more on the trees that are in front of this thing instead of the thing. So the best that I get is like basically a silhouette and some really interesting pareidolia. Like, I don't know if there's anything to that where people are like filming something, right? And there's like the craziest pareidolia you've ever seen of like just like straight up faces. Because like, if there's something to that, then as you see in the picture of this thing's silhouette, you see like a perfectly shaped Sasquatch face in the foliage that's like probably 10 feet tall. Like just a face, giant green face. And it's like unmistakable. It's like, huh? You know what I mean? So maybe there's something to it. I don't know. I'm not going to put all my eggs in that basket, but I think it's still strange nonetheless, because even while there was stuff going on, I capture like the same thing too that's in front of us. And I even say like during the footage, I'm like, man, I hope I can see this, because like from my phone, I see it. When I review it, it's not there. There's a smaller face over to the right that looks straight up like a gray alien. That's weird. But it's still pareidolia as far as that goes. But is there anything to it? I don't know. It's weird though. But yeah, eventually that thing crosses. We can't really see it very well. We go and explore the cage a little bit and look at it, and we're just dumbfounded by how this big old cage that turned out to be for catching wild hog, like how it even got there. Because like it would be almost impossible for people to bring it out there. Like why you would try to do that makes zero sense, because this is like a giant steel cage.
Yeah.
Like people that normally trap feral hogs, they use like a netting system and some like T-post and wire and all that stuff, and they'll make it so that they can catch multiple hogs. Now this is like for a single hog, and it's all steel. The door that used to be on this was an entire plate of steel. I mean, it makes no sense, but yet somehow it's out there. I mean, it's inaccessible to get there with a vehicle. It's not possible. It would have to be carried in by a person or by something. And plus, it was turned up on its side too. And my thought on it was basically it's like a refrigerator out in the woods. Because there's lots of turkey sign out there too. And the way this area looks is it looks like it's just like the perfect place for things to go out there and play around, juveniles, like what we were seeing, and mama to have like something out there to keep turkeys in. Like, it's like, you guys are hungry? Go to the fridge, and reach in there and grab it out of turkey. So at least that's my head canon anyways, right? So, yeah, it was interesting, and once we got done exploring that, we're like, okay, well, let's go down here a little ways and check out where dude just crossed, or I assume it's dude. Let's go check out where he crossed and see if there's anything there, because there's a little stream there, right? And there's only one area that's not cut out that actually has like a bit of a muddy / sand bar to it, and it just so happened that is the place where it did cross. But half of its foot went into the water, the other half was not, and we get a really well-defined heel print out of it. So also that's on footage, so you'll see it if you guys want to go check it out. I have it all in one playlist so you guys can check it out. So after that, we're like, okay, time to eat. So it's lunchtime. This fat boy gotta eat. Sorry. So go do that. We had awesome Mexican food. Oh man, just tamales. Bruh. They were excellent. So after that, we get done and we go to the second area. Now the second area is very interesting. It's very beautiful. It's more beautiful than the first place, like scenery wise, but it feels 100% different. It feels dark and foreboding and just bad. Like I don't like the way it feels at all. Granted, like the first place, it had a feeling too, but it didn't feel quite as dark, so whatever. And it's the same thing. I mean, we see plenty of the same stuff out there. We see plenty of tree structures, prints, stuff like that. But the one interesting thing that we definitely see out there is the footprints that we are finding. Some of them are different, and some of them are of the three-toed variety.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now he says that's Dogman. I don't know. I haven't got to see a Dogman's foot because the one Dogman that I've ever seen didn't show me its feet. So I don't know. But anyways, we go out there and we're like, all right. So we had such great, results just by getting a good lookout place to observe everything and just hanging out. So we make our way past the next graveyard and we see like we find a really cool rock structure and stuff like that. It turned out to be like an 18th century icebox or something like that. I don't know. But that's really cool. But we eventually get up on the hill and we're pretty much back to back, and we're observing things. And by the time I feel like I'm looking at a rabbit, Harley starts getting activity behind him. And he basically sees this thing spider crawl up to like a point where he can watch it. And it's doing the same thing. Like once it gets to where it wants to go, it's doing this kind of number. And yeah, so this is a good time to be aware of the angle in which that your GoPro is set on the giant's head. So, anyways, and then I'm trying to basically break my neck to try and watch this thing, and I can't really get to it. But just at the edge of my vision, I can see behind the mountain in which that's kind of going around and goes back into a laurel. Now, from where he's sitting, he wouldn't be able to see back in there. But from where I am, slightly over from him, I can. But I mean, I can't really do it. I'm killing myself trying to do it. And I see something back there. At the top of the laurels, there's a black figure that's back there, and I see from here up on this thing. And I'm thinking it's the same juvenile that we saw before, because that seems to be the calling card. We're seeing all these juveniles. Sweet.
You know what? There was a question that was just asked, and you sort of started hinting on an answer to this. We have a new viewer from Alabama.
Oh, cool.
I was talking about not really getting a lot of reports or feeling like there was a lot of reports of Bigfoot, but more reports of Dogman, and was asking, do you think that there's a connection between the two?
As in between the Dogman and the Bigfoot? Yeah, I think they're all connected in certain ways, but I don't know that they are connected to the point where they're synonymous with each other, if that makes sense. I don't think it's the case that when you find Sasquatch you find Dogman, but I do believe that they are connected in the same ways. I see all this stuff in biblical terms anyways. I see it all as demonic, Nephilim, whatever, from that perspective, That's why I say that, there is a commonality there, but, I digress. So anyways, so I'm watching this thing, and I'm trying my best to maneuver myself to the point where I can actually see it. But by the time that I actually get to the point where I can take the camera and my rig and be they're gone. They just fade back into the laurels. Think of the meme from Homer Simpson as he fades into the bushes. Just, I mean, that's what happens basically. So I'm well, crap, that sucks. So, we hang out for a little bit longer. We think we hear a moonshiner come up in a four-wheeler, so we're kind of it's probably just need to hang out a bit because that's not normal. And after that gets done and leaves, we go down there and check everything out. And we first decided to go to where I saw the black one hanging out in the laurels, right? And as we get up there, I realized that this figure was a lot further away than I thought. And by the time you get there to that laurel bush, I mean, it's 10, 12 feet tall. So what we're thinking is what that actually was Big Papa, that left the 22-inch footprint that we found earlier. That's what we think. It might not be, because technically Harley has found a 26-inch footprint out there, and he says that this is the Elvis territory where we're at in the second place anyways. I don't know. And either way, like, this thing was massive. I mean, it's just huge shoulders, all trapped, no neck, and just a big old head. So it's huge, and as we're out there, like, exploring, like, that little area, or trying to anyways, Harley gets sad, and he's over there, like, trying to hack up a lung by throwing up. He's like, and of course, I'm messing with him. I'm making him laugh. He's like, quit it. I'm like, like, cracking jokes and stuff. And we decided, for whatever reason, to check out these tree structures that we had kept seeing all throughout the area. Like, it looked like maybe 2 to 4 feet off of the ground level. The trunks would be, like, blown out. And it was like curled out shavings like this. And I don't know what causes that, but who knows? But we decided to actually, like, look at it and see what's going on there. And as we look in, we found tons of hair in it. And this hair was really coarse, fairly long, like longer than what a bear's would be. And when you look at it one way, it looks red. When you look at it from a different angle, it looks black. I don't know. This sucker is just covered up with it. So we're like, well, that's cool. That's cool. And actually, as a little bit of an aside, like, the one footprint that Harley did cast, he was also able to pull a hair from it when he was cleaning it. He didn't know it was there. And it's the same thing, really coarse, fairly long, one way black, one way red. So, I don't know. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we're like, okay, and by this time it's getting late. We're tired. We're just beat. I bring some equipment to do a night investigation. I'm down for it, but he's like, nah, I'm gonna go back and hang out with the wife. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'll do the same, whatever. And we're coming back through, and we're still looking at, like, stuff as we see it as we're going back down. And then it's not far from, like, our original observation point. We see, or we don't see, we hear a roar come from the woods. Now, this roar, it sounded like it was pretty far away, like a couple miles, but yet the power and intensity of this thing is just so impressive, And, I wouldn't call it infrasound, considering we can hear it, but, like, it's like when you're at the lion exhibit at the zoo, right? Like, you feel that super low roar, like, vibrate you. And that's what was going on when this thing let out a roar from that far away. Like, you felt it. Wow. It was just insane. And granted, both of us were like, what is that? Because it doesn't sound like any Bigfoot vocalization that I've ever heard. Same for him. Like, in his mind, it's Dogman. In my mind, I'm thinking T-Rex. Because I don't know. It doesn't sound like Bigfoot at all. I don't know what to make of it. But, like me, I don't get really scared doing this stuff. I've seen so much and experienced so much, whatever. Cough, cough, ultrasound. Yeah, right, Pam. If I heard it, it ain't on infrasound, okay, or ultrasound. Come on now, I heard it. Love ya. But like, I don't know, like, it seems to me like this thing would have to just have such a chest capacity to be able to do it. It makes me think about, like, the way they describe the Nephilim and, like, their build. Having, like, a 2-to-1 ratio with height and width. Like, I feel like to be able to produce that, you would have to have just humongous chest capacity to do it. But granted, like, we didn't see it, therefore I don't know what made it. I just know that, like, for me not being afraid of things generally, I didn't want no part of that. Like, that was a little much. I was just like, hey, buddy, you stay right there. I'm good. I'm good. These other guys are good enough. Like, whatever you are, you can hang over there. It's cool. It's cool. You know what I mean? Hello there, Miss Polly. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us. It's always good to see new faces,
Right? I enjoy new faces.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, see, Pam was like,
Oh, ultrasound versus infrasound. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Fine. I'll let you have that. But it's not always the case. Sometimes it's radiation. But not in this case. It definitely wasn't. So I didn't get sick. But I mean, I did get zapped once while we were out there, and I hardly got zapped 2 or 3 times. That's why I was trying to throw up at one time. But yeah, like the moral of the story is like that place is super active. Like it was really insane and really intense. Like it's super active. And to be fair, it's not too far from where we're going tomorrow. Maybe we can convince them to go out there. I don't know. I'm down for it. Just saying, I did bring night vision equipment too.
yeah, I didn't bring any equipment with me this time because I wasn't sure what was going on. But, and not to mention, I already had a ton of bags. I had back for 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So far, I mean, as far as like the filming stuff goes, the documentary stuff, I mean, that's where I'm at. I've got 1, 2, 3 outings under my belt. I've got a 4th one planned that I'm going to do by myself. I want to go up to Bankhead. I don't know how many people I'm going to have out for that. I'm going to try to have a couple, try to make another film. And then after that, I know I've got another trip out there with Relic Films and Greg to go out to the LBL, and I'm super excited about that. Like, oh, I can't wait. And then, I don't know, I think we might still be doing something with Tex. I'm not sure. I mean, Tex mentioned something about it tonight, and that made me super excited. I was like, I want to go to Texas. But I don't know. Yeah, but the future's bright. I really I really enjoy going out.
Mm-hmm.
So every chance and opportunity that I get to do it, I'm going to do that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like right now, most of my outings are paranormal. So that's kind of where I'm camping at right now. Gotta say though that like I need to get back in shape enough to be able to start trekking through the woods a little bit.
Heard that.
Yeah. Preferably when it's cold and there's no coat.
It doesn't help that much when it's super cold. I already told you about how I was like freezing to death in Georgia.
No coat.
Huh?
No coat. It's good. Cold is good.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just saying, my extra insulation didn't help me none. I still about died.
I can handle
Unalived.
cold much better than I can handle the snakes. Yeah.
Lord Jesus, please let me find a non-poisonous snake that I can grab tomorrow. Please. Carry on. Don't mind me. So anyways, yeah. Any other questions from anybody out there in YouTube land for us before we cut this thing? We've already been out here an hour and a half. Nice.
I did not bring any equipment with me actually because I wasn't really sure what we were going to be doing. And two, like I said, I've got way more with me than I wanted to have to bring anyway because I'm actually here. I got here last Sunday. I'm not leaving here until next Thursday. So I had to pack for work for 2 weeks and all that. So yeah, I didn't bring any more bags than I had to. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess on that note, guys, on my channel, be looking out for me to be doing some live streaming. I'm definitely going to do at least one because consistency, algorithm, yada, yada, you know how it goes. But I'm going to be going live periodically a bunch. And if you want to borrow any of my equipment while we're out there, just holler at me. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'll probably be doing some live. I'm going to probably save a lot of the stuff that I get tomorrow for Patreon, though.
Good call.
Yeah. I'll probably get some stuff that I'll use for a teaser for that. But yeah, some of the stuff that I'm getting tomorrow most likely is going to wind up on Patreon. So, which reminds me, I did do a kind of my thoughts article today on the visit to the Night House. It's on there and it's exclusively on there. So if you want to find out what was the kind of my conclusion about that night, then please go check that out there.
What are you doing? Just to see if I can fade out of frame. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be an interesting day tomorrow, guys.
Balls on parade. Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Awesome.
I have 2 words that will change his whole course of action. Tighten up.
Okay. Intimidated. Yeah. Please tell me more about Dolly Parton. I beg you. Rocky Top tennis.
She had a coat of many colors.
Who cares? Who cares?
Dolly, we love you on this channel.
Yeah, sure. You're all right. You seem cool. Just whatever. Anyways, so yeah, guys, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, Daniel's channel, where we at. And I hope you guys have a good day. So that's all I got for you tonight.
100%. And so we will be coming at you tomorrow. We don't have any little schedule. So yeah, keep up with what's going on. Tune in and we will talk with you again very soon. Right. And may your journey always be magical.
Deuces.
I've waited for so long to see when you come back to me. Through the wars and battles that were lost, we're born again, it's you and me. The rest is history. Past lives. Past lives. Did we dance together on different floors in 1500 or 1504? We must have been lovers, we must have been something in our past lives.